What's up, everybody? Vortex Fiend here, and yeah, this is the first time I'm going to be showcasing this brand new game called Mecharashi on this YouTube channel. Now, I saw this game advertised on Google Play, and I got a little curious because it did look cool. It is a tactical styled RPG, very similar to SD Gundam G Generation Eternal, which I know you guys that are subbed to this channel, that's what you guys follow me for. But I wanted to give this one a shot because it looked interesting, and I know I said I wasn't going to touch too many other gachas, but this one also caught my eye, and I wanted to showcase it for you guys on this channel. So what I'm going to be doing is just kind of giving you guys an overview and giving you guys my overall impression so far from playing this game, because I will tell you right now, I have been playing this game for a bit now since it launched, and it launched like last week. And just to let you guys know, this is not sponsored. This is me just wanting to share with you guys the experience that I've had so far with this game, because I do love mechas, I love Gundam, and while this is not Gundam, it's big giant robots fighting each other, and I just absolutely love that. But before I go ahead and get started with this video, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, dislike, comment, all that good stuff. It helps me out, and also definitely give this game a shot. It is available on iOS and Android, and there's also a PC client. You can either download the PC client through the official website, which I'll be linking down below in the video description as well as the pinned comments, or if you guys have a Steam account, you could also download it there. However, keep in mind that if you do play it on the Steam client, it will link to your Steam account, so you won't be able to like switch accounts or like bind a specific account, because it acts that way differently for the Steam version. But let's go ahead and talk about Mecharashi. So as you can see right here, this is going to be the one of the mechs from Mecharashi. They're called STs. I'm not sure why exactly they're called that, but they look really cool. They give me a lot of a little bit of like Pacific Rim and also Armored Core vibes. And also, if you played this old school RPG called Front Mission for the Super Nintendo, which has been remade before, this is pretty much very similar to that, especially when we get into the combat for this game. But this is going to be an ST right here. If we go into my STs right here, I'm just going to show you the ones that I have right now. So for example, I have this one, which is tied to the pilot Rosa. It's called XR. Right over here, we got Arash. And then right over here, we got Krieger. So there's different ones right here. And what I really love about this game in particular is that there's so much customization that you could do with your particular mecha. So first of all, you could go into Paint and you could customize however like visual that you want for this particular mecha. Now, I went with the standard red because I think for XR, this one looks really, really cool. But if you want to get creative with it, like you could go this, you can go Carmine, you can go Sun Orange, you can go Cinnamon Brown, whatever you want, you can apply it to kind of give your mech a little bit of like your own personality visual-wise. So I think that's already cool in its entirety, right? That's something that we don't have, for example, in SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. And then afterwards, we also have other different ways to customize. We can go into the assembly, right? And each ST has the body, the right, the left arm, and also the legs. And if you click here, you could go through all of your different parts and kind of like mix and match right over here. And when you do that, it's going to influence the battle power of this particular ST. It's also its weight and its power, because that does matter in this game. Like certain mechas are going to either be like a light mecha, a medium, or a heavy. And certain ones, if you mix and match, you might not be able to get the efficient battle power, but it does allow for that. So then that way you're slowly upgrading whatever that particular pilot is piloting. So that's something that I thought was really, really cool. And then in terms of the actual weapons, right? So right over here, we have weapons. There's a right shoulder, a left shoulder, a right arm, a left arm, and a backpack. And I think that's already like plenty right there. But then if you dive right into it here, let's say we want to like switch out a weapon with the right arm. As you can see, you know, we got the Courage, which is an assault, and you know, a one-handed assault rifle. And then right over here, for example, we have the Art of Ambush, which is another one-handed assault rifle. If you want to go like melee, you can equip, like, for example, this is called the Nutcracker, which is a one-handed, like a fist weapon. There's also pole arms. So for example, we got Thunderbolt right here, which allows for like a more of like, you know, a close combat type of a range type of a situation that you could, you know, deal with your enemies. And then right over here, we got the Gatebreaker. This is a two-handed, so the mecha is literally going to swing it like this, like a big giant sword or axe, if you want to go that route. But again, when it comes to selecting your weapons for your mecha, it's all going to be dependent on your pilot, because the pilots have specific roles, and we'll get into that when we talk about the pilot. But that's a little bit of an overview on the weapons there. And if we actually click on the weapon, we can also modify them. So this is where like you could improve like a particular stat, and these upgrades you could get when you unlock the arena, which is kind of like their version of PvP. But what I like about this game's PvP is you can actually control your units, which I think is really, really cool that they added that feature. And then let's see what else we have here. If we go right over to here, and actually, you know what? No, never mind. So when it comes to these weapons, something that I wanted to mention is that you collect them from particular stages, so you can't necessarily upgrade them level-wise. You get them at a certain level, but the way that you base how you want to select your weapons is in terms of like rarity, for example, is let's say if it has like this orange hue, it is of the highest rarity, so that's the one you kind of want to aim for. And then there's also the purple, and then afterwards, finally, there's blue. And then when it comes to some of these other ones, they also do have passive. So for example, this one has the anti-MST Expert 3 passive. When attacking a medium ST, the firepower is increased by 140, and each weapon has like a unique passive to it depending on the rarity. So you definitely want to consider that when you are equipping weapons on your ST. So very, very cool. I think definitely there's a lot to do here for this game. If we take a look at this, right, we have a backpack, which is kind of like an additional accessory. So you want to match it with something that would benefit the pilot that is piloting this particular mecha. So I chose Flurry Strike and which is enhanced. I chose this one because it enhances Flurry Strike and Gutsy Strike, which is something that the particular pilot that I have on this unit specializes in, because Rosa is all about dealing like a lot of like, you know, mid-range damage, either with like a machine gun or a shotgun. So this works perfectly well with this particular ST. But that's a little bit of an overview there. Again, I don't want to get too in depth because I want you guys just to get like kind of like an overview of what this game is all about. And as you can see right over here, it shows you what this pilot specializes in. So assault and tactical. So you definitely want to strategize how you're going to be building the particular ST for the particular pilot that you're going to be using them in. Okay. That's a little bit there about STs and, you know, how you could customize them. I think it's really, really cool. We're going to go ahead and jump into pilots now. So pilots do have their different rarities. S pilots are going to be the highest. Those are going to be the ones that you want to aim for, to pull for. Afterwards, you do have A rank pilots, which are purple, and then B rank pilots. However, just because a pilot is of a B or A rank and they're not necessarily S rank, it doesn't mean that they're not nearly as good. Some of the A rank pilots are actually really, really strong. Like for example, for endgame, Winston right over here is one of the pilots that's considered like one of the best for endgame, and his particular role is going to be a sniper. And if we click here, right, this is where you could see the different professions for each that a pilot can have. So for example, you got your fighters. They specialize in like melee combat as its primary form of attack, and they also have decisive blows and re-attack. So as long as you fulfill a certain condition in combat, fighters can keep taking a turn. Raiders are the ones that are very, very popular because they could use assault weapons. You got high burst single target attacks, and they definitely are good at quickly, you know, eliminating a lot of HP from a target. Snipers are going to be like your long range weapons that specialize in like using long range like rifles, and they have this special ability where you could target a particular part of an enemy mecha's limb, for example, and then if you successfully destroy it, it kind of hampers their performance. So let's say like, you know, there's an enemy target that has like a weapon in like their right arm, right? And you use that special ability with a sniper and you destroy it. Well, you just took away a lot of that particular mecha's, you know, combat capability, which I think is really cool. The tactician specializes in attacking from super great distances. So what they use primarily like missiles or like mortars that you usually attach on their shoulder. So they're from far away, they launch these missiles and it does like a ton of damage. Sometimes it's like even AoE, so that's going to be what a tactician does. Guardians are very similar to defenders in SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. They have like this aura that they'll disperse, and what happens is that whenever their ally is targeted, as long as it's within like their defensive range, they'll jump in the way and actually take damage. So generally these are tied to like heavy STs, so like the very heavy ones, so that way they can defend with a shield and also counterattack right back. And then finally you have machinists. Simply put, this is going to be like your support healer, so they could be the ones that go into combat and actually heal or like repair the different parts that you might have damaged in combat, so that way they can keep the rest of your units alive. But I like how there's like essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different roles that each pilot has, so you can kind of like strategize there. And like I said, when it comes to like, you know, if you're talking about meta and stuff, this guy right here, he's only an A rank, it's not even an S rank, but he's actually really, really strong for a sniper unit. And if we want to take a look, like for example, at like an S rank pilot, we got Rosa right here, who you could currently get from the Gacha. She's currently featured right now. So she is a raider, which is again one of the most popular roles that you could use in for a pilot in this game, because they're all about that single target burst damage. They can function at medium range. They generally use like shotguns, machine guns. So that's the role that Rosa has right here. So this is going to be a little bit about an S rank pilot. Pilots also have bionic computers, which is, you essentially power them up with like different passives right over here. So they get like an increase in their defense, increase in defense right here. They get another passive right here. So this is something that you could utilize, and you get these materials for them as you progress through the game. See right over here, right? You get these little materials right here. And what you do is when you get these, you can start earning these different passives to make your pilot even stronger. And then they also have a neural drive, which allows you to give you like even more like different kind of capabilities. So for example, I actually should probably remove this one and look for a better one. But when piloting, yeah, so there's a lot of in-depth stuff here, but essentially it's giving your characters more passives depending on the type of ST that they are piloting. And essentially you want to go with one that kind of matches their role or matches the type of ST that they're currently in. So again, a little bit of an overview here, but it's really, really cool of how in-depth this game gets with the pilots and also the mechas and the STs. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit of combat here so you guys see the combat. So I'm going to go with like an easier stage just because I don't want it to be super long. I'm going to go into elite battles right here. And yes, there is an auto mode here, but for the purposes of this video, I don't want to use auto. I want to actually, I actually want to like play through the game. So let's go with, Awakening, just so you guys see the combat. And again, if you played Front Mission on the Super Nintendo, it's very similar to that. Okay, so as you can see right here, we could decide which units we want to sortie. So I'm going to put my Raiders right over here in the front. I'm going to put my melee character in the front too. I don't have any defenders right now that I've built up. I have one right here, but she's not really as strong as my other units, as this is what I'm using right now. So I'm using 2 Raiders, a fighter, a machinist for healing, and then I got a sniper. And we're going to go ahead and go to mission start. There we go. And as you can see, this particular machinist deploys an additional unit that helps with additional healing, which makes her super useful. And you can actually get this unit for free. There's a 7-day login where if you log in for a straight up 7 days, I think it's day 3, you get her, and she's an S rank pilot. And then day 7, you get another S rank pilot. So that's really, really cool. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go with Rosa here, because she's one of my main damage dealers. So I'm gonna select the enemy unit, and it allows you. So when I did that, right, I selected this weapon to be using. I select the unit right here. I can either use a normal attack or I can use a more special attack. It does show you how much AP it takes, so just keep that in mind. But for the purposes of this video, let's go ahead and go with the cooler attack, because we want to see that, right? So we're gonna use Ballistic Bundle.
Consider yourself warned.
And as you can see, here's all the HP amounts of the different parts on that particular enemy unit. So we just completely neutralize this one because, this stage is kind of easy. But again, I just want to show you guys how combat looks like. Okay, so next we're going to go with my other raider, which is going to be Frida. And we're going to go with this Firebolt. And let's go with Invasion. So this is going to be like a shotgun attack right here, which looks super cool.
Trash.
So there's no super fancy like EX animation like SD Gundam. It's more of like realistic, but it's super cool. I actually think the animations for this game and the combat is really fun. Okay, I'm gonna put you on standby. So we're gonna move this unit. Actually, we're gonna move her right over here, right?
Time to get those hands dirty.
I'm gonna put her on standby. And there are support/link attacks in this game as well, and hopefully we'll get to see it here. All right. So let's see. No, we can't target. That's fine. We'll just stand by here. And we'll move this little guy actually right here, because I don't want the assist unit to get targeted. Okay, so now it's the enemy turn. All right, so let's see the melee combat in action right here. So I'm going to go with the Hail of Spikes. That's my stronger weapon on the right arm. Let's go with 1-inch punch.
Punch first.
And when it comes to combat, if you destroy the body right away, regardless of what health the other parts are, that unit is completely eliminated. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you're getting into combat with the game. Okay, we're going to take a look at the sniper now. I have a few options here. I'm going to target with Red Fox. And I'm going to go with accurate fire so you guys get to see what I was talking about earlier. So it's going to go into like this little animation here. You could select specific parts. So for the purposes of the video, it's going to give you the hit rate right here, right? And how much damage you're doing. We're going to do this because what's effectively going to happen is we're going to take out this unit's arm and they can't use the weapon that they have here. And since they don't have any weapons here, all they can do is punch you, which completely neutralizes how effective this unit can be in combat. All right, here we go.
They're right there.
There we go.
Think
Nice.
before you act.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and finish it off with Frida here. Let's go with a normal attack. Nice. All right, and then let's go with... Okay, so we're not quite in range there, but that's okay. And we know we're just going to keep Pachi right over here, our little assist droid here with healing. And we didn't counterattack there just because we're not in range, but that's okay. We're gonna get to see now how our healer attacks, because machinists do wield weapons, and for her, I gave her like this two-handed Gatling gun, because why not, right? There we go. Nice. All right. And then let's go with Triumph this time with the pole arm. We're gonna go with a normal attack. Nice. And as you can see, since they don't have any arms, like it's just trying to attack you with the shoulder, right? And right there is the little link attack, or like you could relate it to like the support attacks, right? Not nearly as strong and as effective as, for example, like how it works in SD Gundam, but it's still cool to see. All right, so we have some enemy reinforcements coming in here. We're just gonna continue to push.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and set this to auto so you guys get to see how the AI functions. All right, there's the reinforcements.
Clear the way, trash.
Very nice. And we're gonna use the shoulder weapon here for Rosa. Nice. Oh, I love that. Yeah, so the missiles have a lot of range if you give them a shoulder weapon. There we go. Very cool. Very cool.
Great job. But remember, my cut.
And there's voice acting. So I kept it in English because I thought it was kind of cool that it had English voice acting. But I know there's other languages that you could set it to depending on what you like to listen to. Okay, so that's a little bit about the game, guys. I'm having a lot of fun. As you can see, there's a 7-day log in here. Day 3, you get the Pilot 7. She's a healer. She's great. And then at day 7, you get Naomi. She's a tactician. So something to consider when you start up this game. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys is going to be the gacha system. So you do pull for 2 different things. The first thing you pull for is going to be the pieces to your different mechas. So obviously you want a gun for the S rank, and a lot of players have recommended that if you're going to go for one, you want to go for a Glacia right over here. This is the mecha that is tied to Hong. However, right now I am using Frida on this. So if you want to go for a mecha, you go with this, and you do get enough resources after tutorial to be able to do at least one multi. However, what a lot of players are recommending from watching videos from like other creators as well, you go into recruit and you want to focus on your pilot first. So right now, there's a rate up banner for Rosa. There's a rate up banner for Hong. There is this pickup banner. You want to ignore this one because there's going to be one that's right next to Rosa's right here. I've already done it, but that is an infinite reroll selector banner for particular S ranks that are featured. If you want like the TLDR, I would definitely go for Frida. She is an amazing raider unit, and she's going to carry you throughout even the end game. She's one that's highly recommended. There's also a machinist on there named Melissa, who is considered one of the better machinists or healers in the game if you want to go with a healer. But the way that you do it is before you even do the selector banner, you want to decide if you want to get either Rosa or if you want to get Hong. Now, this is all up to you entirely. Like, if you happen to like Rosa just because of her looks, because I mean, there's a little bit of waifu factor when it comes to some of these pilots, then go for who you want to go for. But let's say like you already have plans on going for Frida, who is a raider, then you probably don't want to go for Rosa and you want to go for Hong. So you would roll for Hong first. Try to get Hong on that multi. Then if you do, work your way up to getting either 10 recruit tickets or getting the necessary amount of the, what do you call it? The Arashium here, which is like the currency that they use. So then that way you could do another multi on the infinite reroll, and then you could either get, you know, Melissa or Frida or whoever, which one you want. But that's pretty much how the reroll process is going to go for the pilots. Most recommended gun for a pilot, and then afterwards focus on the mecha. But if you do want to get a mecha, Glacia is the ones you want to try to go for. But we're going to go ahead and end this video with doing some rolls here. I'm going to go for the Rosa banner because I really like Rosa. I think she looks cool. She appears in the beginning of the game. I like Hong too, the fact that she's a martial artist, but looks-wise, I mean, Rosa just looks so badass. So let's see if we can get another copy of Rosa here. We're going to do a 10 recruit. I have enough for 2 multis, so let's see if we can get lucky. Or even get an S rank palette that I don't even have. Okay, we got 2. We got 2 A ranks, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Okay, we got Allison. She's a sniper.
Assault specialist John Brewster.
I'm sorry.
Let's see who the other one is.
I'm Lily Stan.
Hey, new face.
Hello. I'm
Lily. Oh, we got another Bella.
But
Okay,
you can call me Bella.
cool. So we got 2 A rank pilots there. If you already have them, they're converted into pledges, which essentially unlocks like unique passes for them. Essentially, that's how the dupe system works. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do one more. Let's see if we can get lucky. Let's see. If not, that's okay, because I do plan on making like different teams later on with like non-S rank pilots. Okay, so no S rank there.
New face.
Hello.
We got 2 more A ranks.
Hey, new boss. Straight
We got
up.
Fenrir.
Fenrir doesn't come cheap.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
Chloe Schmidt here.
Chloe. Ooh, I got a new one. We got Hawkwood. He looks badass. Look at that. Look at that guy. It looks like he came straight out of like G.I. Joe, like from like what is it called? The opposing team with Cobra Commander.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There we go. All right, so that's the gacha. Didn't get an S rank, but that's all good because I'm going to be using those A rank pilots too. So let me know what you guys think. Give this game a try. Especially right now, if you're playing SD Gundam G Generation Eternal, which that is still going to be my main game. I'm not going to stop making content on that. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of content on this game because, again, I don't have nearly as much time because of, like, you know, life situation with kids and all that. But I will be featuring it every now and then on my channel here on YouTube. And I might even consider streaming it, like, maybe, like, once a week or something on Twitch if there's nothing to do on SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. And don't forget, I do also play retro RPGs, which is, you know, a lot of the things that I love to play. So I am doing that as well on my Twitch streams. Don't forget to check out those links in the video description as well as in comments. Let me know what you guys think of this game. Have you guys tried it out? We do have a channel in the Discord for it, so that way you guys can talk about it more. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video and stay blessed, everybody.